שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. This may be a new melody for you to הנה מה טוב. Here we go. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, זה הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. After me, how good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, yeah, ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. שלום עליכם, שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום, שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום again, שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום, שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם
Shabbat Shalom. It is so wonderful to see you all here, to see so many of you here. Welcome, Shabbat Shalom. Thanks for being with us. Thank you to all of you who are worshiping via the live stream. Thank you to Live Control and Jacob Bronstein for taking care of all of our live streaming needs. We are thrilled to see longtime congregants, guests, friends, People who were driving by, it's good to be here together. It's the ticket. People just drive by and walk on in. Tonight is special. It's for all of you, but it's for Rabbi Julia and me too. When Cantor Doug, our beloved Cantor Emeritus, said he was going to retire, we knew that this man who changed the world for us in terms of Jewish music was irreplaceable. And so we knew that we had to find a way to figure out what's next and where to go. And in discussions with our board and leadership, it became clear that we needed to educate ourselves and bring in some incredible musical people to teach us, to lift us up. And when Rabbi Julie and I started thinking about who do we start with, there was no question. You go ask the teens, they'll tell you. Whose music is lifting people up, is making them think and shine. And it's this incredible artist. Elana, Arian, and I know each other from way back when. She knew me when I had hair on my head and about this much in a Jufro. And she was a couple of years younger. We both were at Kutz Camp in New York. Today, she teaches at the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music, which is the Reform Movement's cantorial school. She is there training the next generation of cantors how to not just sing, but touch souls and lift them up. She is a recording artist par excellence. She leads services and concertizes like our cantor did throughout his career, all over the country. And she's the one who we wanted to start off with. So a couple of things. She's not Cantor Doug. So don't expect Cantor Doug. She is going to inspire and lift us up and make us think and make us feel. And take your pulse and see what it is. She's also not available to be here at Congregational Orami as our cantor because she lives on the East Coast and her family's there. Her wife is a cantor, 2 kids, one about 3 years old. And how old's the other one? 9. Okay, so they'll keep going. And she's also friends, by the way, with the cantor who's coming out next month, Cantor Shayna DeLoe. Did you know that?
Yes.
So she's going to be out here, and it's going to be incredible things. So you're in for a treat. You all have a song sheet with you or near you, so be Orami and sing. Those of you who are guests, sing. You're here. Enjoy. If you don't know the words, lie, lie, lie. Leading with us, of course, Rabbi Julia Weiss and Sam Thal, our rabbinic intern, and Scott Rabin, pianist. The two of them are coordinators of music, our accompanist. Let's take just a moment and greet the people who are around you, behind you, in front. Some are shaking hands, some aren't. Make dinner plans, whatever. And while we do that, I'm going to invite Arian and Adrian to come on up to the bima. Shabbat Shalom, welcome back. They're going out for dinner. Those people, someone fixed someone else's kid up with someone else. Glad you're all here. Lighting candles, Adrian Pasternak, her husband Avi. Why did I say Ari? Adrian was is a congregant here, was a faculty member here, rabbinic intern, thank you, and just was ordained this past January at in the Aleph Rabbinic Seminary. So this is Rabbi Adrian, but as they light candles, candles are on page 2. And Donna Hennis is singing us through the blessing.
Lie, 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 lie. וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. לי 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 invite you to rise if you're able. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening? Are you listening to my prayers? Can you hear my voice? Can you hear can you understand? Am I awake? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la Wow, the sound of so many voices singing. Song number 3. Listen to our So we're taught that there are really only 3 prayers in all of Judaism. Please heal my loved one. Please keep my family safe. Please let me get home in this rain safely. Please. Thank you. Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to sing. Thank you for my family. Thank you for a beautiful another day alive. And the third is, wow. And the moment in the service that we're in now, Mi Khamocha, is like the wowest wow that ever wowed in the whole story of the Jewish people. When I'm talking about this prayer with students, sometimes we're thinking about just how spectacular and outlandish the imagery is. It's really meant to make you think, like, wow. I'll say to kids, have you ever walked up to the ocean and seen it just split in half? It's on purpose to make you say, wow, that is an incredible, incredible miracle. And the placement of this prayer in all of our services as a part of our liturgy is there to remind us that we are indeed surrounded by miracles every single day. And I believe, as people, sometimes we're not wired to notice them. But Mi Khamocha reminds us, wow, this is a miracle. It's a gift. I'm thinking for myself, last year this time or 2 years ago this time, I would not be here with you singing in person. I'd be in my dining room singing into my computer to whoever was in their computer on the other side, and it just feels like a miraculous thing to be able to be here together. I'd love to teach you a new setting of Mi Khamocha. There's a lot of different ways to say wow, right? There's wow, and there's wow, and all the things in between. So this starts off with the wow and moves towards the other. We get to the party when we imagine what the Israelites must have felt when they looked behind them after running, and realizing that they were free.
Page 40.
Page 40. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you? Shake your head, do that again. La la ya la 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 ya la 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 la, hold it out, ya la 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 la. Try the whole thing again, ya la la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 hold it.
so I understand that it is Orami tradition to end most services with the piece of liturgy that I strongly requested be put in this moment in the service, the Hashkiveinu prayer that you often sing at the end, which is a piece of evening liturgy that we traditionally would say before we go to sleep, that we would be kept safe. And I imagine that our ancestors were really, truly asking to be kept safe from whatever predators or enemies might befall them in the night. You'll hear in the text, Ufros Alenu Sukkot Shlomecha. Sukkot Shlomecha is a sukkah of peace. Sukkah Shlomecha. And it's always struck me as a strange thing to ask to be sheltered and protected by a sukkah, right? A sukkah is de facto not a very hardy structure, right? We know that we're supposed to see the sky and feel the rain and feel the wind, and I can tell you because I moved from New York City to the suburbs last year, and I built a sukkah for the first time last fall, and it fell over after one night. They're not very strong. And so I like to think about what's the learning in that? Why are we asking to be protected by a sukkah of peace, not a concrete parking structure of peace? And I think the lesson may be that in a sukkah with those openings that we can feel the rain through and the wind through, that we might be able to reach through from one sukkah to the other and help shelter each other. These are not structures that keep us isolated, they're structures that bring us together. And so with that, we'll sing words of Hashkiveinu on page 42.
Song
Number 4 on your song sheet. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom, L'shalom. Ve'ha'amidim shomeinu le'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha. Please rise. Number 5 on your song sheet. A beautiful intention by a wonderful young composer, Batya Levine. I'm going to teach it to you. It's very simple. May I be empty and open to receive be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. Good, listen. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive. That's the whole thing. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive. May I be empty. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive. May I be empty. May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive.
I'll invite you to turn to page 64 for Magen Avot Ve'imahot. Now this is a prayer that encompasses all of the themes of the Amidah, the core prayer of our service, the standing prayer. And it was created by the rabbis in a time when people didn't have time to pray through all of the different prayers, so we're going to do it tonight, and take that as you will. And it's on page 64. We're going to read together in the English, starting with Blessed Are You. So we'll read together. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, and God of those who came before us, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebekah, God of Rachel, and God of Leah. Great, mighty, and revered God, God transcendent, maker of heaven and earth. With a word you shielded our ancestors, with a phrase you give all things life. Sacred God beyond compare, who took joy in providing rest for your people on your holy Shabbat day. We will serve you reverently, acknowledging on each and every day forever just who you are, the one to whom blessing goes, the one to whom thanksgiving is due, source of peace who recalls the time of creation by sanctifying Shabbat, blessing the seventh day, and in holiness granting rest to a people overflowing with joy. Amen.
May I be empty and open to receive the light. May I be empty and open to receive. May I be full. May I be full and open to receive the light. May I be full and open to receive.
We take a moment to pray silently, to pray the prayers of our hearts.
This is on the other side of your song sheet. Make of us a house for all people. Gather us in hope for all people. Surround us in peace for all people. In wholeness and in love. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, try that. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Starts the same. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. A little different. Tasim Leolam. Try Tasim. Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha mevarech et amcha Yisrael. B'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim
We are in the Hebrew month of Elul, a time for reflection and introspection. Our rabbis teach that we are to show ourselves more care in this month than any other month. And each of us is like an olam katan, a small world. Rabbi Jordan Browning teaches that we are challenged by this teaching to see ourselves as a microcosm of the world. All of the personal mending and fixing that we do during this month can remind us of the repair that must be done in the wider world. It ripples out. And perhaps we are meant to see that the two need not be distinguished. Our kindness to ourselves and to those we love allows us to care for the world beyond. Poet Naomi Shihab Nye wrote the poem Shoulders, and I think it's a perfect piece for this time of year as we prepare for the year to come. Shoulders. A man crosses the street in rain, stepping gently, looking 2 times north and south, because his son is asleep on his shoulder. No car must splash him, no car drive too near to his shadow. This man carries the world's most sensitive cargo, but he's not marked. Nowhere does his jacket say fragile, handle with care. His ear fills up with breathing. He hears the hum of a boy's dream deep inside him. We're not going to be able to live in this world if we're not willing to do what he's doing with each other. The road will only be wide. The rain will never stop falling. Rabbi Browning continues, our days are short. Our work is much. The road will only be wide. The rain will never stop falling. There's so much to be done in our world and to fix it. It's painful and overwhelming, yet somehow the poet's words are a reminder that it begins with care for each other and with carrying each other. So let's carry each other right now, in this moment, by sharing aloud the names of those who are suffering or in need of medical help, those who received a scary diagnosis, those preparing for surgery, struggling with addiction, trying to stay alive, and living in a world of pain. And let's carry each other by listening to these names that are shared aloud and hold in our hearts those who are suffering and those whose loved ones are suffering as well. Tonight, we are asking for healing for We turn to page 253 and pray Misha Berach, the indented words.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Prayer is amazing. You know, when the prayer book started, it was a number of themes that over the course of time people agreed upon. If you want a good way to go to sleep instead of taking sleeping pills or whatever, go to the rabbinical school at HUC and pull down Rabbi Paul Kidmus's rabbinic thesis on the intertextuality in the a study of Seder Rav Amram Gaon as an study of the intertextuality of Bible in the liturgy of the Shacharit morning service. I'm tired already, but I looked at the earliest prayer book, the themes and how it came together into the words that many are like this, and this adds on. But when it started out, you didn't have to say this prayer and this prayer and this prayer. You'd hit on this theme and this theme and this theme. And whichever prayer leader was there would lift you up in ways, sometimes inviting, sometimes speaking or praying for you, sometimes inviting you to be part of it, sometimes lifting you up, and sometimes having you just sit. And as our cantor says, listen. So too with music. We get lost in the fixity, the keva, it's got to be this way of each prayer. And as we saw tonight, there are so many ways of taking ancient words and more modern words and singing them in a way that gets into our kishkis, our guts and soul, and brings us forward. For those who are guests, you'll find out when you come to Orami regularly. Sometimes we'll daven, we'll pray the Hebrew all the way through, from the beginning of the Chatzi Kaddish to the end of the Mourner's Kaddish. And sometimes we'll do a meditation service, and sometimes we'll sing and pray primarily from pieces of paper carrying prayers. It's when we get lost and say it's got to be this way that we actually stunt our own growth, and our young people particularly, and Colin and Eden leading us in prayer. And of course, our a little less young but equally vibrant Donna singing too lift us up. So we're on a journey. We will hold on to Cantor Doug's legacy and keep it going forward. And we will figure out how to lift up with the next generations of music what Doug did for us starting 26 years ago, carrying us forward. And so who better to begin our journey than one who teaches the cantorial students and rabbinic students and the other students, and who teaches all over the country. So let's learn from our artist in residence, our scholar in residence, Elana Arian.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to be here. I flew from New York today, so this is the point of the service where I'm starting to feel a little weird. I'm just going to be honest with you because, you know, it's kind of late inside of my body, so if I start to tip over, someone will come over and catch me. Sam? Okay, great. So when Rabbi Paul invited me to do a little teaching in the middle of the service, we were thinking about sort of the way forward with Jewish music and what the beginning of that journey that Rabbi Paul was just describing. And so I'd love to share with you, first, very briefly, how I ended up doing this strange job that I have, which is to go from community to community around the country for a weekend, and then have a beautiful communal experience, and then I disappear, and I go somewhere else. The truth is that this kind of work is sort of like a family business in my family. My dad is a Reform rabbi. My mom is a professor still at the cantorial school, where I am a little adjunct somebody now. And I grew up falling asleep on the tables at Kutz Camp to the song sessions with the sound of Jewish music all around me. And the main way that I ever connected to Judaism was just through the music, which I know is an experience that's true for a lot of us. Because my parents were sort of in this world, I had the incredible good fortune to have our teacher of blessed memory, Debbie Friedman, be a major role in my life. She was a good friend of my parents and eventually a friend and a teacher of mine. And as a kid, I mean, I kind of understood that it was a big deal that she was around, but I don't really think I understood at all until I sort of have become an adult doing this work. For those of you who aren't familiar with Debbie Friedman, she was sort of the very first pioneer of the style of music that is really the most prevalent, particularly in the Reform movement, what we're doing tonight with guitar and a register that regular people can sing in. You don't have to be trained in anything to be able to sing, and the idea that the voice of the congregation becomes the voice that the prayers are in, not the way that it may have been before, where only a very skilled cantorial voice would do that, and we would sit and receive that, which, by the way, is a super valid way to do things, but this was a very new thing that Debbie did. And starting in the 70s, she brought her guitar into synagogues, and it really upset people, as you can imagine. Like, you're a heretic. You're not welcome here. First of all, a guitar, not an organ, which is what was happening before that. Forget about a piano. And then also English, and then also sort of what some people perceive to be taking holy words from thousands of years ago and sort of putting them to like 60s folk music almost. It's music that we could sing. A lot of people were very, very threatened by the work that Debbie did. And as Rabbi Paul said, I now teach in the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music, which is the name of the cantorial school. So you can tell the distance that we've come in quite a short period of time, and understanding that what's the kind of the dominant mode of singing and musical prayer in American Jewish life, that really started with Debbie. And that continued down the line through Cantor Doug and all of the pieces that he also added to this canon. He would never have done what he was doing, and I would never do what I'm doing if Debbie had not done what she did. So that's all to say that I wanted to share a teaching that I learned from Debbie, which I think was really the main way that she defended herself against people who were offended by what she was doing. Like, she has a new melody for the Shema. I mean, and you can imagine. It's like, no, the Shema, that comes from Mount Sinai. The one that we normally sing comes from like Germany in the 1800s, but we know, all of us know how powerful those melodies are that we grow up with, that we sing. There's a very, very important place for those melodies. And I could see, just sitting here watching this congregation transform while you sang the words of Listen, the way that a piece of music can hold a specific place. And the reason that many people hear those notes of Kol Nidre at the beginning of Yom Kippur and just can transport themselves back to sitting next to their grandpa in the pews and the smell of the cough drops and the whole thing, right? We know that memory and ancestry and tradition can be transmitted in those melodies that we're used to, and so absolutely there's a place for that. And Debbie believed that deeply. And when she would encounter people who were threatened and upset by what she was doing, writing, using new kind of folk music to set these ancient holy words, she would teach about this concept of music as midrash. A midrash, I know we have a rabbi here, at least a few probably. What's a midrash? What do you think of that word? Huh? A tale, keep going. Stories. Huh? Teaching. I hear more. Interpretation, very good. Expansion, beautiful. Wow, we could go on and on, right? The idea of a midrash is rabbis for thousands of years. It's a totally accepted body of work in Judaism that rabbis will just kind of invent a story or invent something that may or may not have happened to explain something complicated or interesting or tricky in our text. And Debbie would teach that anytime a composer of Jewish music would take these ancient words of our tradition and set them to a new melody, they are engaging in that same act of creating midrash, giving a new interpretation that might give some new insight or new light onto a piece of text that you've heard a million times before. And I thought what we could do tonight, just for the next few minutes, is we're gonna sing together 3 different settings, musical settings of the same text. We're gonna think about what the interpretation of that composer is, what that midrash of that composer is, to get at the root of what the point of all this is. Because we could just come and sing the same things that we always sing, and that sometimes feels really good. I know it feels really good to me sometimes to just go and go through start to finish the way that I'm used to it, and sometimes it doesn't fit how I'm feeling about that prayer anymore. So we're going to use the words of Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom b'mirmavu, Oseh Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace above bring peace down here to us, for us and all of Israel, and we say amen. And we're going to start with, Debbie Friedman wrote many settings of this. We're going to start with, I think, what's her sort of more well-known one. And I'll invite you, if you know it, to please sing with me. And while we're singing, think about what Debbie's midrash might be about these words, praying for peace. Or another way to think of that is, what do you hear, or what does it make you think of that kind of thing. And we are actually going to say our ideas out loud, so just so you know, that's coming.
62.
It's on page 62. Thank you, Rabbi. Oseh Shalom, b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru ha'arei. Oseh Shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru ha'arei. Oseh Shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru ha'arei. Oseh Shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru. What do you hear in that? Joy. More. Yes, Donna hears moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. Can you think of what in the music makes you think that? I think a lot of people were nodding when you said that. Yes, the tempo changes, right? The speed of the piece, the tempo, gets faster. And I want you to know that's not a performance choice. It's actually written right here in the music. Gradually getting faster every time. Okay, so there's some feeling of...
There's an urgency to it.
Yes, an urgency, beautiful. Moving forward, momentum, yes.
Motivation.
Motivation, can you say more?
It's like the transition to something new.
Ah, beautiful, the transition to something new, right? You can feel this is like taking off, right? We're going somewhere. What else?
We used to sing it at the end of the service at camp before, like, the song session, so it was like the lead-in to the more, like, excitement, the dancing. And
Right, and at the end of the service, probably you started off in kind of a more mellow place, right? Because this text, Oseh Shalom, comes in the Kaddish, so you don't want to come out rocking and rolling after Kaddish. You kind of ease in, and then it launches you into your song session. I love that. So you're saying exactly what I think Debbie would want you to say, right? This setting of Oseh Shalom is one that's about motivation, urgency, momentum. This is not like, Oseh Shalom, Shalom, B'Rahman. Right? That's peaceful. That's a peaceful setting, right? There's not anything peaceful about Debbie's, right? She's telling us we want to have peace on high, from on high down below. Get up out of your chairs, please, right? This is a mandate, yes.
Just I remember that Debbie used to say, we've had a lot of tragedy in Jewish history, but not everything is a tragedy, so not every song is to be a dirge.
Yes, wonderful. That sounds exactly right. Right? We've had a lot of tragedy in Jewish history, but not everything needs to be a dirge, right? So this has that kind of energy and impact, and there is also something kind of mournful in it too. Somebody else had their hand up as I was talking. Yes.
Your Shalom Rav was so different too, a whole different melody.
Mm-hmm.
What was the midrash behind that?
That's a good question. I'm going to talk to you about that after services. There's one other thing about this piece that I want to show you. So we already got to urgency, everybody in. You can't sit back and relax, right? We're going forward, we're marching. Will you sing with me? You want to sing? Oseh Shalom. 1, 2, ready, go.
Oseh Shalom, Mimromav, Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu,
up and doing it, okay, this song is a round. Okay, in musical words, that just means I play the same chords for both parts, and that means that the two parts go together. It's not an accident ever to have a round. It's difficult as a composer to make parts that go together. So that gives us a little more in this midrash, right? We sounded pretty good singing it just one at a time, but we sound better when we have the two different voices singing the two different parts. There's something about a collective, diverse, everybody in the pool kind of piece in this setting. Okay, we're going to sing another one, and I'm going to ask you again to think about what these composers are trying to tell us about this prayer for peace. This is a setting much more contemporary, 2011, from Nava Tehillah. That's an Israeli collective of composers living in Israel today, composing today.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'hibru.
That's different. What do you hear there? What do you notice? Modern ancient tune. I love that. You hear something old and something new. Beautiful. Yes.
It feels collective. It feels like everybody joined in.
Yeah.
More so than the wow before, which was sort of a personal wow.
Mm-hmm.
This feels collective.
I love that. Why do you think it feels collective? What do you notice? You're right. I agree with you. Yes.
It's joyful.
Yes,
And
joyful.
To me, I can see dancing. It's a collective of a group being so joyful for what the words are saying. That's I can see in Israel people doing Israeli dancing. to this.
Yes. People kind of dancing in the street. That's what a lot of people say when they hear this, which sort of indicates maybe that we've achieved the peace,
Yes.
right? We are seeing what it's like when we've done that, right? Beautiful. Someone just had their hand. Yes. Aliveness. Right. There's a lot of life in there. Now, I could see when I was singing it that this is not a melody that many of you know, and yet everybody was moving, clapping their hands, right? You can't help yourself, right? That's the beat and also just the design of it. And half of that piece has nothing that you need to know at all, just la 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 la. That's called a nigun, a melody that doesn't have words. And there's only 2 sections to the song, and one whole entire section, 50% of the piece, a lot of real estate for the composer, is given to something where you don't need to speak Hebrew or English or any other language at all. So what does that tell us about this idea, this midrash? Yes? Say it again? Devotional, beautiful. It's for everyone, right? Sometimes when I'm asked to sing at like an interfaith event or something like that, I'll sing this setting because I know that for at least half of the piece, anybody who wants to sing can sing along. They don't need to know anything particular or have any particular credentials, and that is a very inclusive and collective vision of peace, right? It's for everybody. Yes?
And having Yoshvei Tevel in there helps.
Beautiful. Say more. Explain.
That it includes all the people of the world.
Yes, so
Israel.
that's perfect. So in this setting, some of you may have caught it, that they say, Oseh Shalom Ibrahim, Oseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. That's what we're used to. And Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. They're adding a little piece of text that you'll find in other places, sometimes in other progressive sidurim and services and different kinds of liturgy. And that means, may the one who makes peace on high bring peace down here to us, for all of Israel, and to every being that's living on this earth. So we have Israeli composers who live in Israel saying, yeah, peace in Israel, and also everywhere else.
Actually, the universe.
The universe, right,
Universe.
right, expanding out into the universe. It's interesting, right? The idea that adding this little piece of text, emphasizing the fact that we want peace for Israel, but also not just for Israel, and maybe it's not even the place Israel, maybe it's Am Yisrael, maybe we're talking about we want peace among our people and also peace among all people. And then we have half of the song that's not in any language at all. So this is a vision of peace where every single person is invited and required, and maybe if we approach peace that way, we end up dancing in the street. All right. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to move to the concluding part of our service. I'm going to sing for you my setting of Oseh Shalom, and because I'm here, I'm just going to tell you what I'm trying to communicate. You don't have to guess what it is. This is similar, I think, a similar kind of inspiration to that set, to the one that we just did. You'll hear that text inserted again, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. And one of the choices that you get to make as a composer, when you're setting liturgy or setting words that already exist, is you can decide, you want to repeat certain words. Occasionally people take out words and figure out ways to emphasize different parts of the text. So in this piece, you'll hear the phrase Ve'al Kol many times. Ve'al Kol, Ve'al Kol, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Ve'al Kol, Ve'al Kol, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. And for me and for all, that's the same kind of idea as we were just talking about with the Israeli setting, that peace, the peace that we're yearning for, is a right that belongs to everyone, every kind of person, people who look like us and people who don't look like us, people who love like us and people who don't love like us, people who vote like us and people who don't vote like us, people who live in places like our places and people who live in other kinds of places, and on and on and on. It really belongs to everyone. That's a very, very hard thing, to really wish that kind of peace on every kind of person who believes every kind of thing that you might think is hateful and terrible. Guess what? Our tradition tells us, Ve'al Kol, for everybody, we yearn for this peace. So I'm going to leave you with this setting. Oseh Shalom, B'Romav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol. Ve'al Kol Shabbat Shalom.
And we learn, and we expand our minds and our hearts and our souls, and we get lifted up. And this is our journey for this next year until that new person comes and assumes a place up here as our next cantor. You need to know that Michelle November, my wife, and I, sitting there along with Rabbi Julia, listening and learning along with you, flash back to when we were at Kutz Camp and Elana's mom and dad were those people creating the next kind of Jewish music. Those of you who were at our gala when we honored Cantor Doug and he retired, as he was retiring, and we saw pictures of him early on going around the country concertizing, and he was along with others transforming, but in a significant way, transforming Jewish music. Who's doing that now? And who's the first person to bring out? Elana. So when you go home, you're going to go onto your Spotify or your whatever, and you're going to follow because it makes a difference to artists. And you'll go onto our website, elanaarian.com, and listen and learn and maybe get some music. But keep listening, not because this is the way Jewish music is supposed to be, but this is one of the ways. And that's what our journey is, to see all these different ways so they come together and create something. Now, tomorrow night, we are in this very room going to take the mantles, the covers of the Sifrei Torah, the Torah scrolls, and change them from their blue, year-round blue, to their High Holy Day white. As they transform, it hopefully will lead us to transform. There's a holy evening, holy festival called Slichot. It means Slicha, I'm sorry. It's to begin the process of saying I'm sorry. Ashkenazi, Eastern European Jews do it on the Saturday night before Rosh Hashanah, or sometimes the one before that to give us time. And Sephardic Jews from Spanish-speaking countries start a month before. And so Orami, Slichot, for Ashkenazi Jews is actually next weekend. But we're not doing it then because we have Elana here. So we're doing it this weekend. So it's sort of a Sephardic, Ashkenazic all together. Now, at 6:30 you can come, and there's going to be dessert. You can bring some potluck, but also our past president, Lucille Golden, and Heidi Padveen will be helping greet us and bringing in all sorts of delicious food. There'll be some wine if you want. There'll be some soda. Maybe there's going to be some coffee and some water. And we'll sit and we'll schmooze and we'll enjoy. And then we'll come in and it'll be candlelight lit here. And we'll continue to learn and meditate and sing and change the mantles and begin that process of preparing for the high holidays. You can't walk into the high holidays and think it's going to lift you all the way up. Just like you can't go out and run a marathon if you haven't started to do those spiritual calisthenics. So tomorrow night, 6:30, 7:30, if you have plans, cancel them. Bring everybody here and enjoy. I know some people have it. And those who have younger children, young people of all ages and their families, there's a back to shul experience, back to school, get it back to shul, and Elana Arian concert for kids, 10:30 to 12:30. It was supposed to be off-site, but the sky is leaking. I don't know what that thing is, the flood. So it's raining, so we're going to do it here at the synagogue. So you can come to that if you want also. But if you're adults and you come, it's about the kids, but just It's about everybody? It's about the heart. It's everybody, so you all can come. There is, I did that. Apparently, on the 26th, the high holidays are coming. So we have a meeting next week to start thinking about what we're going to do for the high holidays, maybe plan some prayers and stuff. Going to be at the Thousand Oaks Civic Arts Plaza for all of the services, except for Ne'ilah, the concluding service, which will be here. It'll be in the Fred Cavley Theater. You need tickets to get in. It's for security, it's for whatever. If you are a congregant, part of the partnership, it's included in, but you have to go online and register for them. It'll also be streamed, oramiLive.com, no paywall. It's open for there. If you are not a congregant, you can get tickets through there or join the congregation. Do it. If you're at far distance, join our Orami's neighborhood, our distance partnership, 60 miles or more away, and enjoy it that way too. What's next on our process here, on our musical journey? Next week is Shabbat in the round with our rabbinic intern Sam and Rabbi Julia and Scott and other musicians, and it'll be powerful and enjoyable. The following week, September 23rd, another musical experience, Jamie and Jared Stein, Jewish composer and music educator, will be here. Funky, Jared Stein is the son of Cantor Stein from Temple Aliyah. The two of them sing. They did a Havdalah all through the COVID period and lifted up. It's going to be funky. They're fantastic, and you want to do that. And then I'll tell you more at another time. Lastly is this. Did I say get your high holiday tickets? So let me tell you what a sin is, because on Yom Kippur, we're going to ask forgiveness for our sins. A sin is waiting till last minute and calling the office and needing help. They will help you, but you will have caused more stress on them to make sure they're doing it. In fact, we're going to call everybody who hasn't ordered their tickets or haven't said they're going to be streaming to make sure you're all taken care of. So take care of it soon, next week. And when you come to pick up your tickets at Will Call at the theater on that day, and prayer books if you need them, come early. There's a security line you got to go through because that's America, particularly American Jewish life, and you have to do the Will Call. So don't come 5 minutes early. Come 35, 40 minutes early. I'll be there. Rabbi Julie will be there. We'll be hanging out, waiting for something, inspiration. Maybe I'll write a sermon then, and we'll go. Yeah. We are not emailing tickets. All the tickets you have to pick up at the Will Call there. Not their Will Call, but the Orami Will Call, yeah. And the reason we're doing that is because we're concerned about mailing them out, and I have an entirely new staff here that's learning, and I wanted to give them time so no one else has to stress. It's going to be great. Yes?
Are we doing Sova?
So Sova is the food pantry here in the Valley. They have asked us particularly to collect toiletries. And so we will pass out bags at Rosh Hashanah services. We want everyone to fill them with toiletries, that there's a list of them. And then we're not going to collect them there, but we're going to collect them, I think, the Sunday after Yom Kippur here, and then we'll deliver it to them. They made that special request for us, so we'll do it. It is my honor and privilege. We have to invite up Craig Steinauer, our president, to share some words of welcome. We have in this room 3?
I was going to say it.
You say it then. Okay, good.
4.
Here's your mic. 4. Okay, you have to tell me what it is.
Thank you. Thank you. By the way, I'm emotionally drained, which is a compliment. Listening to you, you were amazing.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is great to see everybody here. It started, I think this blessing started about 4 or 5 hours ago when it started raining. And we were like little kids. I mean, all the adults were like little kids looking up like they'd never seen rain before, which was amazing. And then at about 7:28, Rabbi Paul said, Craig, your wish came true. Everybody's here. Right? You said that. So it's yeah, this is really an emotional evening. We've got Lucille Golden here, past president, Fred Gruber, Michael Kaplan, and Gary Kaplan. So we have 4 past presidents here. which is, that's what, basically a third of the existence of Orami is represented here tonight. So thank the four of you and everyone else that's, just played such a significant role in keeping Congregation Orami relevant over the past 27 years, 26 years. Okay, and we continue to grow, and most synagogues out there are struggling. So because of all of you and all of our amazing congregants, we're continuing to grow. I think that Elana being here tonight, Elana being here tonight, first of all, I'd like to say two things. I'm really, really glad that we did not have to settle for seeing you on Zoom, because I think this is much more impactful. And also, I think the bar for future guests is way up. So you set the bar extremely high tonight. So I would like to thank everybody for being here. Lisa, it's awesome seeing you. And Brandon, great seeing you tonight too. So thank you everybody for being here. Looking forward to seeing everybody at the upcoming high holidays, and masks optional. So great, thank you.
If you have prayer books in front of you, I'm on page 289. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, and it glows. It's radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our life burns down in gutters. There's an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen, yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. We're now at the part of our service where we remember those that gave light to our own lives, eternal light. And as my hand passes around the room, I invite you to mention their names aloud and their relationship to you. Tonight we are remembering.
My Bubby and Zadie and my great aunt Jenny.
My mother, whose yahrzeit was on Wednesday, Bertha Lasher, and my father, Benjamin Lasher.
My mother, Anna Nevsky, my father, Elana Nevsky, my sister, Tina Nevsky.
My grandma Ruth.
My brother.
Papa.
My husband. My grandpa Elliot Ullman.
Father Jerry, Mother Jerry.
My sister Lou.
My friend's brother, Carter Stone, and my friend's mom.
We turn to page 294. We rise in their memory and in the memories of those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, page 294. Yitgadal v'yikdash shemei rabbah, v'yamad yivrach yirateh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'yimru, amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei omaya. Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudashah brichu. La'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehi shlam rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen.
Remain standing. And we have at other times talked about that moment in the Shabbat morning service and also at other services where the ancient Kohanim, the priestly class would bless the congregation, sometimes putting for the men, their talitot over their shoulders. But we, the egalitarian nature of Reform Judaism, teaches that we are all a part of that priestly class. We are all Kohanim. We are a nation, a Mamlechet Kohanim. Vergoy Kadosh. We are a nation of priests and a holy nation. And so, like we do in front of this ark, Aron Kodesh, with B'nai Mitzvah, wedding couples, young children coming out, people changing their status as they become Jews and others, and bless them, and baby names and brisses and more. We bless on Friday nights our children, our families. And so, a beautiful setting by this incredible composer. Put your prayer books down, because you're only going to have to sing one line, that you can do more. If you're comfortable, do what I learned to do when I moved to California, and it was weird for an East Coast boy. If you're comfortable, both in COVID and in your thing, feel free to pull people, your loved ones, close, or those you don't know, if they're comfortable, close, as we bless each other. And there will be a part for our teacher, and a part for all of us, and a part for your rabbis, and we'll bless each other. And those of you at home, if you have others with you, hold them close. If not, know that I am holding you here and here in my heart and in my head, and feel that warmth.
The words that we'll sing together after each line of blessing, the words are Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be so, and it sounds like this. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Try that. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Second part goes Ken Yehi Ratzon. Try Ken Yehi Ratzon. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Try the whole thing. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
May God make God's presence known to you and show you compassion.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom, shalom, shalom. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
May the Holy One raise up that holy presence and surround you and fill us each and all, so that we feel, so that we sense, so that we know shalom, wholeness, fulfillment, contentment, and peace.
Ken Yehi Ratzon. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Can you do me a favor? Where's Colin? Come on up. Where's Eden? Come on up. Lisa, come on up. You all can leave if you want. But this is a gift for them. Some years back, we had, don't really leave. Some years back, we took a group, as we always do, to Washington, D.C. of teens.
We had 3, the first one, and she was one of the 3.
And then groups of 17, 18 to Washington to learn about issues, to learn Jewish values, to decide how they felt on issues. And they didn't always decide the way I felt on issues, or Rabbi Julia didn't. It didn't matter. And then to write about it and then go lobby our senators and Congress people through their leaders. And the theme of the whole thing was that they have a voice, and that voice is powerful. And there was a song that you're going to sing that Elana wrote, composed about that. And in front of the Capitol building, 18 or Ami young people singing out at the top of their voices after that moment that they got to say what they needed to say as future voters to our senators and congresspeople, to their legislative aides. They sang this song.
Rabbi, they're going.
They're going this year. So, it's on, I think it's on the song sheet. Yes, number 8. You can sit if you want, sit down, but this is for them because they have a voice, you have a voice, and enjoy.
So this is a call and response. I'll call and we'll respond. I will open my eyes. I will open my eyes. I will not look away. I will not look away. I will use this gift I've been given every day. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world. I will give of myself. I will give of myself. I will reach out my hand. I will reach out my hand. I will use this heart I've been given and take a stand. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world. I meant to say before we started, there's a little bit of Hebrew here. This is a blessing from Nisim Bechol Yom, our morning miracles. And this blessing thanks God for making us B'Tselem Elohim, with a little piece of God inside of us. And I think I included this here because I really believe that that spark of divinity is in our voices when we use them to stand up for people who don't have anyone to stand up for them. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam she'asanu b'tzelem Elohim, b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam she'asanu
our synagogue, I will do Kaddish and Motzi. Just want to welcome a future colleague, a rabbinical student here who's with us as well, Eden, we just waved, who's also teaching this year, so thank you for being here. We're happy to have you in our community. We're going to do Kaddish together and Motzi, and then please join us if you'd like for challah and oneg cookies in the nashery. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei beri hagafen. L'chaim, there's a big challah out there. We're rippers. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Thank you to Scott. Thank you to Colin and Eden and Donna, and to, of course, Elana and rabbinic intern Sam, and Rabbi Paul, my partner in crime. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.